This is Captain Admiral Asante. Admiral Kofi Asante was my father. He died saving 12 billion people he had never met. He had no orders to help them, no obligation to intervene, no reason to sacrifice himself except the simple belief that some things are worth dying for. This is the story of what happened after. This is Case File 203 Unity. This is the story of the Admiral's wake. My father commanded the Terran 3rd Patrol Fleet. 40 ships assigned to monitor the frontier and assist with exploration missions. It was not a combat posting. It was not a prestigious command. He loved it anyway. On April 7, 2389, his fleet was conducting routine surveys near the Zelani system when they detected the Dread Armada. The Dread were nomadic conquerors. They swept through regions of space, stripping worlds of resources and populations, then moved on. No one had ever stopped them. No one had ever tried. 2,000 Dread warships were converging on the Zelani homeworld. 12 billion civilians, a species that had barely achieved interstellar travel. No military, no defenses, no hope. My father contacted Federation Command. He requested permission to intervene. Permission was denied. The Zelani were not Federation members. The Dread had not attacked human territory. Engaging would risk war with an enemy we were not prepared to fight. My father was ordered to observe and report. Nothing more. He acknowledged the order. Then he did something that would change the galaxy forever. He opened a channel to his fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Asante. You have heard the orders from command. We are not authorized to intervene. Any officer who follows me does so against direct orders. You will face court-martial, possible imprisonment. Your careers will be over. He paused. 12 billion people are about to die. They have done nothing wrong. They simply exist in the path of something terrible. They have no one to help them. No one except us. I have listened to the recording many times. I can hear the weight in his voice, the knowledge of what he was asking. I am going to help them. I am going to take my ship into that battle and do what I can. I do not expect to survive. I do not expect to win. But I expect to make the Dread pay for every Zelani life they take. He took a breath. Anyone who wishes to join me, form up on my position. Anyone who wishes to follow orders, I understand. No judgment, no dishonor. This is my choice, and I will not force it on anyone. He cut the transmission. 39 ships formed up beside him. Every captain in his fleet chose to follow. 40 ships against 2,000. The Battle of Zelani Prime lasted 4 hours. My father's fleet was outgunned, outnumbered, and outmatched in every way. They should have been destroyed in minutes. They lasted 4 hours. They used every tactic, every trick, every desperate maneuver they could devise. They fought in the planet's debris rings. They used civilian satellites as cover. They rammed enemy ships when their weapons failed. They died one by one. But each death cost the Dread dearly. By hour 3, my father's fleet had been reduced to 7 ships. The Dread had lost over 300 vessels. The enemy commander was furious. He had expected easy conquest, not a battle that was costing him irreplaceable warships. He ordered all forces to concentrate on the remaining human vessels. My father saw the opportunity. The Dread command ship was coordinating the assault. It was massive, heavily armored, surrounded by escorts. But the concentration on the human survivors had left gaps in its defensive screen. My father ordered the remaining 6 ships to continue their harassment tactics, to keep the Dread focused on them. Then he piloted his flagship directly toward the command ship. His crew begged him to reconsider. He ordered them to the escape pods. All of them. He would pilot the ship alone. His last transmission was broadcast on all frequencies. The Dread heard it. The Zelani heard it. Eventually, the entire galaxy heard it. This is Admiral Kofi Asante of the Terran Federation. I am about to die. That is acceptable. I have lived a good life, and I am spending its final moments doing something worthwhile. He paused. To the Dread Commander, you came here to slaughter innocents. You thought no one would stop you. You were wrong. Humanity does not allow genocide, not on our watch, not ever. His ship was taking fire now. Systems failing, hull breaching. To the people of Zelani, I am sorry I could not do more. I am sorry my fleet was not larger, my ships not stronger. But please know that someone stood for you. Someone thought your lives were worth fighting for. The command ship filled his view screen. To my daughter Amara, I love you. I am proud of you. Live well. Do good. And remember, someone always has to stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. He cut the transmission. 3 seconds later, his flagship impacted the Dread command ship at full speed. Both vessels were destroyed instantly. The death of the command ship threw the Dread fleet into chaos. Their coordination collapsed. Their assault faltered. The 6 remaining human ships pressed the attack. They were joined by something unexpected. Zelani civilian vessels, cargo ships and transports, flying into battle with no weapons except the willingness to ram enemy ships. The Dread retreated. 2,000 ships had come to destroy the Zelani. Fewer than 1,500 escaped. The rest were debris, scattered across the system my father had died to protect. 12 billion Zelani survived. My father did not. The news spread across the galaxy within days. A human admiral, disobeying orders, sacrificing himself to save an alien species he had never met. The reaction was unprecedented. Ships began arriving at the Zelani system. Not human ships, alien vessels from across the galaxy coming to pay respects. The Vorn sent a battle squadron. Their commander said simply, "A warrior of such honor deserves a warrior's farewell." The Korvax sent a diplomatic frigate carrying their highest religious leader. He died so that strangers might live. This is the definition of sacred. The Thessians, the Mexeri, the Silenthri, the Cathari. Species humanity had helped. Species we had fought. Species we had never contacted. They all came. Within 2 weeks, 12,000 ships from 50 species had gathered in the Zelani system, the largest assembly of alien vessels in galactic history. For a funeral. The memorial service was broadcast across the galaxy. Representatives from 50 species spoke. Each one had something different to say about my father. The Vorn spoke of courage. The Korvax spoke of compassion. The Zelani spoke of gratitude so deep it had no words. I spoke last. I told them about my father. Not the admiral, the man. The father who had taught me to ride a bicycle. The husband who had loved my mother until her final breath. The person who had spent his life believing that kindness was strength. I told them his favorite saying, "Someone always has to stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. If not me, who? If not now, when?" I was still speaking when the alarms began. The Dread had returned. 4,000 ships this time. Twice the original force. They had gathered reinforcements from across their territory, determined to finish what they had started. They emerged from hyperspace expecting to find a defenseless world still recovering from their first attack. They found 12,000 warships from 50 species waiting for them. The Dread Commander demanded to know what was happening. Why were so many species gathered here? What alliance was this? The Vorn War Master answered for all of us. We came to honor a human who died for strangers. We came to mourn a man who stood when no one else would stand. And now that you have returned, we will finish what Admiral Asante started. He raised his hand. All ships, all species, for Asante. 12,000 voices answered. For Asante. The Battle of the Admiral's Wake lasted 6 hours. 4,000 dread ships faced 12,000 Allied vessels crewed by beings who had come to mourn a hero and stayed to avenge him. The Dread had never faced a coalition like this. 50 species, fighting as one, each crew carrying the memory of a man who had died for people he did not know. They fought with fury. They fought with precision. They fought with the knowledge that Admiral Kofi Asante was watching from whatever afterlife awaited heroes. By hour 4, the Dread fleet was broken. By hour 5, they were running. By hour 6, it was over. Of 4,000 Dread ships, fewer than 600 escaped. The Dread never recovered. Their armada, shattered in 2 battles over the same world, never regained its strength. Within a decade, they had fragmented into scattered remnants, no longer a threat to anyone. My father's sacrifice had not only saved the Zelani, it had destroyed humanity's enemies and united the galaxy. The Galactic Compact was born from the Admiral's wake. 50 species who had gathered for a funeral decided to stay together. They formalized their alliance. They pledged to defend each other. They swore that what my father had done alone, they would do together. Stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. The compact still exists today. It has grown to include over 100 species, the largest alliance in galactic history, built on the foundation of one man's sacrifice. My father never saw it. He died believing he had failed, that 40 ships against 2,000 was not enough. He was wrong. It was exactly enough. Enough to inspire a galaxy. Enough to unite 50 species. Enough to create something that will outlast all of us. I visit the memorial every year, a massive structure in orbit around Zelani Prime, built by 50 species to honor one human. His name is inscribed in 100 languages. His image is carved in 100 styles, but the inscription is the same in all of them. The words he spoke before he died. Someone always has to stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. 50 species heard those words. 50 species decided to live by them. That is my father's legacy. Not the battle he won. Not the enemy he destroyed. Not the lives he saved. His legacy is the galaxy he united. His legacy is the alliance he created. His legacy is every species that now stands for strangers, because a human showed them how. This is Captain Admiral Asante, signing off, Case File 203. Unity is now closed. My father died alone, fighting for people he had never met. 50 species made sure he did not die in vain. They came to mourn him. They stayed to honor him. And they built a galaxy worthy of his sacrifice. Someone always has to stand. My father stood. And now, because of him, the galaxy stands together.